President is now cancelling a visit to Washington after an ultimatum from Donald Trump.
The fight between the US and Mexico over that wall took an extraordinary twist on Twitter today. Let's have a look at what Donald Trump wrote. If Mexico is unwilling to pay for the badly needed wall, he said, then it would be better to cancel the upcoming meeting.
And then this riposte from the Mexican president. This morning we informed the White House that I will not be attending the working meeting planned for next Tuesday with POTUS. Well, just a short time ago, speaking at a Republicans' retreat in Philadelphia, the so-called city of brotherly love, President Trump wasn't sending much of it down south.
The President of Mexico and myself have agreed to cancel our planned meeting scheduled for next week. Unless Mexico is going to treat the United States fairly, with respect, such a meeting would be fruitless, and I want to go a different route. We have no choice.
Well, for more, let's speak to one of Mr. Trump's supporters, the former Republican Congressman, Bob Walker. Bob Walker, great to have you with us. Thank you very much indeed. There are fights in politics that sometimes you have to have, and then there are the unnecessary ones. Is this a necessary one?
Well, I think it is for Donald Trump because clearly he enunciated during the campaign that he was going to build the wall, and he kept saying that Mexico was going to pay for it. Now, the question was, how are they going to pay for it? And I think that's a matter of negotiation. I think he's setting the negotiation stance that says that this is not going away, that Mexico is going to have to respond in some meaningful way to the fact that that wall is going to get built.
And Congressman, you're a veteran of kind of the transition period when a new administration is taking shape. We seem to have had spats over torture. There seems to be a bit of disagreement over what to replace Obamacare with. We've seen there being differences over what sort of border tax should be imposed. How would you characterize the way it's going?
Well, I think so far that they have done remarkably well. Let's look at what he is doing in these first few days. He is taking all of the things that he talked about on the campaign trail, and he is moving quickly to either put legislation in place that will play out over the next few months, or he is actually issuing executive orders that are taking effect immediately. And so I think that he's doing a pretty good job, and it fascinates me that in many cases some of the media that has been portraying these first few days has been paying attention to things that are fairly minor compared to the major things that he's really doing. And I'm not sure whether or not his strategy isn't to divert attention away from some of the really big things that he's accomplishing.
Congressman, if I could take you back to that Twitter message from Donald Trump today, some of the reaction on social media is that this is now diplomacy by Twitter. Isn't it important that the president does this in a more traditional way?
I don't think it is. I mean, we're in the 21st century, and the fact is that we are an electronic age in which messages are communicated in business through Twitter. This is not anything that's unusual. I do think that it's going to have to change in that some of the complexities of international diplomacy are going to have to enter into some of the discussions, and you can't do that in 140 characters or less. So as we proceed forward, I think that Twitter will become a way of communicating to the American people what his interests are, but it will not be the substance of the diplomacy.
But you will know, Congressman, that messages can be misconstrued on Twitter, and won't there be some people in Congress thinking, well, it could be Mr. Pena Nieto today of Mexico, it could be Angela Merkel tomorrow?
There will be people that will have those kinds of concerns, but again, I think that everybody has to understand that what he's doing is setting the parameters in which he thinks the negotiations will take place, and the Twitter messages sometimes do that. We saw it in the campaign. On the campaign trail, his opponents were frustrated by the fact that his tweets dominated the news media for an entire day, and their messages couldn't get out. My guess is that he intends to continue that pattern as long as it works for him.
Okay. Congressman Bob Walker, grateful to you. Thanks very much indeed for being with us.